right, we're gonna make some letters in 5-point perspective. It's pretty easy. All we have to do is just know that the vertical lines bend to the north and the south. The lines going side to side are gonna bend to the east and the west, those two vanishing points on the side there. And then all the corners are just gonna go to the center. So I've kind of started us off, and let's just start off with one that is not too difficult. We can just visualize it real easy, okay? And that will be a good place to start. So if we wanted to start off with just a real simple one, we could do that. And the simple one here would be the letter L, like in Larry, okay? So right here, the letter L. And we're gonna do it right up here. Let me zoom in just a little bit. And all you have to do to get started, so we're gonna do the letter L, is draw a box around the letter. And then what I'm gonna do is color in. I've already drawn the box for you in the dotted line. I'm just gonna color in this part. This is the negative area around the L. That's the area that is not the actual part of the L. And so right up here, I've already started you off. We can think about the vertical lines, okay? And what are the vertical lines? Let's trace it. So the vertical lines are gonna be down here and up here, right here. These are vertical lines that we have in red, because if I were to continue that vertical line, it would go all the way here to the north. I'm gonna draw a little arrow, and same thing over here. And it would all the way go back down here to the south, so those vertical lines. So what we have to do is make it 3D. So first let's draw the L in there, okay? So here's how we're gonna do this one. We're gonna make it look three-dimensional. And so what we have to do is look at the L, and we're gonna take a look here and try to make sense of it and see if we can figure this out. So with the L, you can see I've already made the corners straight lines towards the center. We have to have a little part here as well on the top, okay? So we're gonna have a little part here that goes down this way towards the center. And then this line right here is gonna go back to my vanishing point number, I guess you could call that number 1, the north. We'll just say north, it's probably a little easier. We're also gonna have a line going this way, and we'll do blue to go back the other direction here. So anytime you have a line going sideways, it's gonna go back to the east, right? Just like this. So that is pretty straightforward here. This part, we don't actually have to keep. I can erase it. I just wanted to do it so I could kind of show you how it works. And in a sense, we draw a box and we're kind of carving away. So on the top here, I'm gonna do just a little bit in yellow, and then I'm gonna color in the side here in green just so we can see it. And so that's not quite finished, that L. What you have to do is just make sure that the side of it goes back here to the west. So I'm gonna draw and kind of trace that line that we already have, like that. And that one is pretty easy, right? You just kind of carve it away. You add the L right into that one. Now, we have other ones as well. So here's one down here. This one, we're gonna do the letter E. E like in echo, right here where I'm pointing. E like in echo. So let's take a look at our letters. So our letters are right up here. Here's the letter E. E like in echo. So what I need to do is make sure that I take the letter E and I just look at it, and I'm gonna color in red these two negative spaces. There's a square here and a square here. Okay, I gotta make sure I put those in there. Now, we've already drawn a box, and so that's kind of easy because we have, you've drawn the sides there. And so all I need to do now is just go ahead and put in my two, my E, excuse me. Put in my E right there. So I just have to put in the E. So let's start with that here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and right here, this one is going to the, so it's kind of upside down. I'm going to actually turn this upside down just so it's easier, so we can kind of see this one right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this E backwards. So the first part is going to be right here. It's going to follow the east and the west line right here. It's going to go like this. Okay. And then what we're going to do is go down just a little bit to here. And I'm going to also draw another little part. So I'm drawing this box right here. Okay. And I'm going to make that go straight to the center vanishing point right there. So you can line up my ruler. And then I'm going to have a little part down here like this. This is curving like this. And then this one is curving as well. Okay. So now we have the E drawn in there. And then to make it look three-dimensional, all I have to do is do a couple things. I could color in the top here so we can see it a little bit easier. And then what I'm going to do is take the corners of the objects and go back to the other vanishing. So I'm going to go back to this south vanishing point here. This one will go back to the south, and then I'm going to go curve it around to the east, and that one looks pretty good there. Looks 3D. So then I can just, I'll color in this part so we can kind of see it. Looks like that. And then all I have to do here is color in the side so we can see the letter. Okay, so let me put in green, color that one in. All right, so we're making a box first, and then we're kind of putting in the rest of the letters. All right, so over here, we could do another letter E. It's just at a different angle. So since we used the E before, let's put it right side up again. You could also, of course, just turn your paper over like this. So if I turn the paper over, it's easier to see there. You can do that as well. You can kind of spin it around. But since we've already done the E once, let's try the E again, just this time over a little bit to the left, actually to the right over here. So we're gonna take this letter E, and all we have to do is remember that the horizontal lines I'm gonna do here in blue, you can see are going to the east and the west. And then we have our corners going straight towards the center. So I need to put 2 squares right over here. So let's go ahead and try that. And I guess it would be kind of like 2 rectangles. So what I'm gonna do is first go down just a little bit with my pencil. And then I'm gonna go over here, making sure I kind of still follow the east and the west right there. I'm going like this, kind of curving. And then I'm gonna go like this and then make a little box like this, okay? And then I'm gonna go one more time, like this. This one goes over, and I go down this way, and I make my E. Now, this line over here, make sure you match it up. I'm gonna match this side up with the center vanishing point. And let me just kind of fix this right here. And I'm going to match it up like this and make sure that I get my boxes in there. And that looks pretty good. So I got my E right there. And then we have our little areas there that we can make three-dimensional. And then all we have to do to make this 3D is just take the corner. We want to take the corner and go to the correct vanishing point. Now, sometimes it's easier if you could take your E, you could turn it upside down like this if you want, and just kind of look at it. You could say, what's happening? You can kind of spin the E just like this, just a little bit. And if I put it here, I can see sometimes a little clearer. I like to put it in different directions. And then all we do is we just take this corner. I'm gonna circle, I kind of rotated the E right here. I'm gonna take this corner right here and go back to the north and the south vanishing point, and then the other one as well. Just taking the corners right there and going back to the vanishing point. And what we're gonna do is color in the top portion here of the E, okay? So that one was pretty straightforward. We made that one look 3D. There's one thing I need to extend this over a little bit. I was a little bit off. There we go. That looks a lot better. So just extend it, making sure that that one is going to the correct vanishing point. And then let's do a couple more. So I have the E in 3 dimensions there. We have an L and we have another E. So that's let's color these in just so we can see a little bit better. So I'm going to color this in green right here, like that. On the side, I have yellow on the top, like this. Okay, so now that we have a box, we have to fit these in and try to make them fit, okay? So what's the next step that we have to do? Next step is we can grab another letter, and we can see kind of how to do this here. So we can do, how about right over here, let's do a nice big letter. Let's try the letter W. That will be fun to do. So we're gonna do the letter W right over here, okay? And so the letter W is going to appear down here. We have some triangles. So let's take a look here. We have some triangles. I'm gonna color it in red first, just like this. Color this one in red real quick. And then what we're gonna do is make sure that we first kind of draw that box. So down here, down right here, I didn't quite complete it. The box is going from east to west, and then this part right here is gonna actually curve. You see how it's curving from north to the south? So we wanna curve that part a little bit right there. And then what I wanna do is take those triangles and we're gonna put them in. So the first triangle, I'm gonna make a little dot right here where I have this, this arrow. The first triangle is gonna go this direction here, okay? And then we're just gonna move, I'm drawing this triangle, and then I'm gonna go back up this way and go a little bit over, and then back this way, and then a little bit over. So I just I'm drawing these 2 triangles right here. Can you see that? Those 2 red triangles? I just draw them right there. And then we'll make it 3D in a little while. There's also a few other triangles here on the bottom. So right here, it needs a triangle like this. So let's put that one in, just like that. And that looks like a little 3D W there. So what I need to do next is take this corner right here, and I'm gonna go to the vanishing point like this, and then take this corner and go to the vanishing point, and then take this corner and go also up to the vanishing point, and then makes it look 3-dimensional. So all I did was make sure that any line that's going north and south, any line that's going north and south is going to be bending. So that one you can see is going north and south from this corner, and the other ones I'm having to bend to the east and the west because these are going this direction. So let's color this in just so it looks a little bit better, so we can use kind of the same colors here. And I'll do green on the side right here just so we can see it. I'll go ahead and color this one in green on the side. So really it's just a matter of drawing a box, making sure that the box is in proper 5-point perspective. Remember, the corners go to the center vanishing point. And then what we want to do after that is just take our time, and we can look at the letter and just fit that in the box, making sure we use the same type of perspective. And so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to color in the sides blue here just so we can see. So I'll color this part in blue, like that. So grab any color that you want. This part in blue, and we got our W there in the 5-point perspective. And let's keep going with a couple of other letters, and I'll have, in a little bit, we'll make our own letters as well, so that way we can make sure that we know how to draw box first and then do the letters. So we have a space right here available, but first we want to draw something over in this direction. And right over here, we're going to have a straight line to the center vanishing point here. And what I want to do is right about here is go above, let's go past the outside of the circle, okay? So you just have this going back to your vanishing point. You can see where I have the ruler. It's going like this. We're going to draw it, and it goes a little bit out. And then I want you to make a little dot right here. Make a little tiny dot. And then what we're going to do is curve that, right? So we're going to have to curve that one going to the east and the west, right? So we're going to curve, in this first one is going to curve this direction towards the east. So you see that arrow that like this is curving here to the east if it were to keep going. And then we're also going to make the top here curve towards the other direction, okay? So that one is curving this direction here. And you can see that one is curving like this. Go back to the center, just like this, okay? Just go back to the center and then put your ruler on this side and also line it up back to the center vanishing point. So you have two lines going back to the center vanishing point. Now, what I need to do is to make sure two things. Number one, that if I'm gonna draw a line here, it has to go from the east to the west. So I'm gonna do this right here and fill this one in. This is the bottom here of the line. And you can see if it were to keep going, it would go to the east and the west, wouldn't it? Okay? And I can do that in blue just so you can see it. The bottom right here, this is the bottom, and the top. Okay, the bottom and the top have to be going to the east and the west. You see that? The bottom and the top. Now this side is a little different though, isn't it? We can't keep going to the east and the west. Now we've got to go to the north and the south. So I take this, and we've already drawn those in for you, but I'm going to draw like this. This is going back to the north and the south vanishing point because it's going the opposite direction. So now we have a nice box. Okay, so we've drawn a box, and actually let's decide what letter to do. Let's do an easy one. How about the letter O? Let's do the letter O. So if we look at the letter O, if we draw in the middle of the letter O right here, we can draw, it's just basically a triangle. Actually, excuse me, all right, so let's draw the letter O right here. And inside the O, it's just a rectangle type of shape. So all we have to do is draw a nice rectangle in there. So the bottom and the top are gonna go to the north and the south vanishing point. And then right over here, since it's the corner of the object, just like this, it's gonna go here. And then the top and the bottom are also gonna follow the same direction as the top here. Now to make this O three-dimensional, all we have to do to make it 3D is to take the corners right here and we go back to the correct vanishing points. If I spin this one here, you can kind of look at it and you could see that this corner is going to be the one that we need to make sure goes to the vanishing point here, to the east and west vanishing point. So I'm going to go like this, and that's pretty much all we have to do to make this one three-dimensional right here. So let's just do that. We can color it in real fast just to make sure it looks good. I'll color this part in green over here. And we're gonna do just a few more. We have one over here. And how about the letter T? T like in Tom, right over here. So what we could do, you can see that the top part is going here to the correct vanishing points, which is the north and the south happens to be. It's going like this. and also the bottom here. So if we look at the letter T, that's an easy one, the letter T. Let's take a look. All we have to do is match up the top part. I'll draw the top part here in red so we can see. And we just have two rectangles. There's a rectangle here and a rectangle here. And then, actually, let's draw it like this, going across. And then there's the part in the middle that we're gonna draw. And that part in the middle is gonna go to our center vanishing point right here, okay? And we're gonna draw it like this. And this part here, just like this. Okay, so there's the T. So this edge right here that was drawn in, we're gonna do that one in blue, just like this. And then the next part of the T is gonna be, we have to make the edge visible. What we have to do is make sure that the T is three-dimensional. So all you have to do is just take the bottom right here of the T, and we gotta go back to the east and west vanishing point. So right here where I'm putting my finger, go back to the east and west vanishing point, and then line it back up here to the, so it's going to the east and the west, just like this. And then we're gonna line this one back up to the center vanishing point, and draw a straight line up all the way to the top like this to make that part look 3D. So let's go ahead and color in the side here, just like this. Okay, and that looks pretty good for the T. And then what we're gonna do is make another letter right over here of your choice. So you're gonna have to draw a box right down here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're gonna have to try to come up with 2 more letters on your own. And you can pick any letters you want. Just don't pick the same ones that we've done. I know we did the E twice, but I want you to pick another one. You could pick the N. That one is pretty straightforward, or the H, even the D, F, any of those that you think might look good. And you gotta do about 2 more of those. That way we have 8 total boxes, 8 total letters, I should say, okay? So how would you start? Well, you start the same way. You just make a box first, and then after you make that box, then all you have to do is put the letter inside the box. All right.